We have been noticing a big shift in how attackers work and who they're focused on. Traditionally, we would see attacks going after large organizations with the goal of stealing 100 million records or targeting a large organization, holding their data ransom and making them pay a $5, $6, or $7 million ransom. While those attacks still happen, and while those attacks are still possible, those are typically difficult attacks. Because whether we like it or not, when you're going against a large organization, yes, they're going to make mistakes, but they're also going to be investing significant amount of money in cybersecurity and significant amount of resources in security staff, monitoring, and 24/7 operations. So while those attacks are possible, they are difficult to do on a regular basis. So the big shift we've seen is attackers are saying, wait a second, instead of going after one large corporation, which is really hard, really difficult, could take a year to do, and get 50 million records, why don't we just go after 50 million people? Why don't we just target the individual? Because let's face it, people will click on anything, right? So if you go in and send a good phishing attack, I even know people that have been trained in cybersecurity professionals that they just went in and ordered something from Amazon, and 2 hours later, they get an email saying, hey, your Amazon order has been delayed. Click here to reset the delivery date. It seemed perfect. It seemed legit. It seemed like everything is right on track. They click on it, and it was coincidentally an attack, and their system got compromised, and their system got owned. So these attacks are so good and so clever, the probability rate is super high that somebody will click on it. And getting 50 million people to click on an email is a lot easier and a lot simpler than trying to break into a large corporation that's spending millions of dollars on security and has thousands of people on their security team. So that's the big shift. So if you're an individual, you need to be careful. If you're working for a company, you need to raise awareness. And the reason why this is important is breaking into an individual's account or individual's computer or individual's device, yes, it does initially give them access to their account, to their privacy data, to their information. So that's attack level 1. Stealing personal data from one person, breaking into their account, or stealing their money. However, the second level is they now have a device that's compromised that at some point will connect to the corporate system. Especially now with work from home, so many people, the lines between personal device and work device have been blurred. They're at home, they're going to use the same device. Whether their work computer has now morphed into a semi-home computer where they do personal banking and personal e-commerce on the work device, or their home device has morphed into a work computer, either way, those two devices are becoming one and the same, which means if individuals get compromised on their personal accounts and that computer gets compromised, there's a very high probability that that computer will be used for work-related activity, and it can also be used to break into the work computer. So we just need to recognize that the new threat out there is not necessarily the company, it's the individual. And because the lines have been blurred, individual compromise ultimately does lead to corporate compromise.